Hey everyone, it's Stephanie here, and today I have my October paper doll layout to share. This month I decided to use the movie and Broadway play Phantom of the Opera as my inspiration for my layout. It's one of my favorite movies. I've seen it more times than I can count, and I really wanted to try and create a layout based on it. It was definitely my most challenging to date for a couple of reasons. One being I am by no means an artist, and the mask on the Phantom ended up looking, I think, absolutely ridiculous, but I left it and I just went ahead and finished the layout. And I also had a little bit of video issue. I accidentally deleted the beginning clips of this video. So as you can see here, I already have the dolls stamped on the text paper and I'm already working on their clothes. So I apologize that I didn't get that on the video. I didn't realize that I had deleted them, and when I went to do the editing, I realized that I started kind of in the middle here. So we're just going to jump into where I'm at now. I just went ahead and stamped the dolls onto the text paper like I normally do. I did stamp the Marisol doll originally, and I only used her body though. The head that's actually on that girl is the head of Kate, and I just stamped her head separately, colored it in, and then kind of cut her head off and attached it onto the body of Marisol. And I just did that because Christine has curly hair in the movie, so I really wanted to try and make it look like her, and that was the closest hair I had, but I didn't want to use the body that was attached to her. So once I finished her, I went ahead and worked on the Phantom, and for him I used the Adam doll, and I just went ahead and stamped him, and I'm going over his hair with black Copic markers to color it in. It's a little bit more spiky than the Phantom's hair actually is, but like I said, we just try and make them work as best as we can. So I have him stamped there, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out his clothes that I've already stamped onto some black pattern paper. I like to use the pattern paper for the black clothes just because it gives a little bit more dimension, because it's not a completely one shade of black. It kind of has some variation in it. So I really like to use that just so it looks a little bit more realistic. So I cut all the pieces out, and I'm just using some liquid glue now to attach these to the doll. And I'm just putting his pants there first, and then I'm going to follow up with the suit jacket. It kind of was the closest I had to the Phantom. He pretty much just wears black, so I just went ahead and completely left him in all black. I did cut out the little lapels on the suit jacket separate. I stamped them a second time and then cut them out a second time so that I could adhere them on top of the suit, just to give a little bit more texture and dimension to his clothes, since I didn't really layer any pieces for the shirt or the tie underneath. So I just didn't want him to look super flat, so I went ahead and added those on top there. And then once I did that, I'm going to go ahead and use my gray Copic markers to add some shading to his clothes. And this just really helps to bring the clothes to life and kind of makes all the different parts stand out, especially because these are completely black. Everything kind of blends together and you don't really see a difference in the clothes until you add the shading on top. So I just went ahead and added some shadow areas to the suit jacket, and I also colored in the tie to make it a darker shade of the black. And as you can see the shading being added here, you can really see the dimension and detail that I'm getting now from the top area of his suit jacket. So I really like to take the time to use some markers to add some shading. And I just use usually cool tone Copic markers. You can use warm or cool, it's whatever your personal preference is. I just usually prefer to use the cool tones. And I usually just take the darker colors like C5 or C7 for really dark clothes like this suit that I'm coloring here. And then for anything else, like for Christine's dress, when I do the shading on that, because she's wearing a pretty much solid white dress, I like to start with really, really light Copic markers like C1 and C2s and kind of work that in to create the shadows. So now I have all his shading done. I'm going to go ahead and cut him out so that he is just on his own, and then she's already cut out because I kind of miss a little bit of her, but I just put some like an off-white pattern paper for her dress, and she's all set to go. Now for the background, I have this brick pattern paper. I did print the quote onto the pattern paper at first, and it really blended into the background and I didn't like it. So I decided to put this quote on the side of the layout on a white piece of paper so it would really stand out. And it's just a part of one of the songs in the movie. And I couldn't decide which side I wanted the quote on, but I ended up putting it on the right-hand side. So now I'm going to work on the background of the layout. So I really wanted to include a mirror, just because that's a very important part of the story of the Phantom and Christine. So I used the Tim Holtz mirror paper, and it's actually like not paper, it's really thick, and this stuff literally looks like mirror. I love it. You'll definitely see throughout the rest of the video how much of it looks like mirror, because you're going to see my face in it a couple times, so don't mind that. And then now comes the part where I have to put a mask on the Phantom. And I'm not even going to tell you how many times I stamped this head and drew on the mask shape to try and give him a mask that looked realistic and looked like what the Phantom wore. I'm by no means an artist. I never thought I was, but I didn't really think that it would be this difficult to create the mask to a point that I liked it. I don't know if I'm just a little bit too OCD and, kind of just expected it to be perfect, but I ended up drawing this many, many times, and you're going to see a little bit here in the video. You'll see a pile of Phantom heads that didn't make the cut and I didn't end up actually using. I finally settled on a shape that I thought kind of worked for his face. And then everything went wrong when I did the eye part. And I don't really know if it's because the spacing's a little bit off and the eye is kind of too close to the side of his head, or the fact that the dolls have no faces at all and I don't have another eye on the other side. I'm not really sure what it is, but I just think it looks kind of ridiculous. So anyway, I went with it. I left it. I attached it to his face. You can definitely tell it's supposed to be the Phantom. I just did not quite get the mask exactly how I wanted it. So you can see there I have it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to attach it to his face with liquid adhesive. And then I have both of the characters pretty much done. I'm just going to add a bunch of detail to Christine. So I went a little bit off camera there, but I did give him a little bit of a haircut as well. I felt like the spiky hair was a little bit too spiky. And even though it's still not exactly like his hair, it's a little bit better than what I had when I started. So now I'm going to actually take the coating off of the mirror and adhere the mirror to the layout. And this is the other funny kind of part to the layout. I left it in just to show you. I completely covered the back of this mirror with adhesive and then realized that the mirror is actually already has adhesive on it. So I ended up peeling the whole back piece off and adhering it with the adhesive that comes on it and attaching it there to the side of the brick. So now I'm going to make sure it's straight, and then I'm just going to pull up on the little film that covers the mirror, and then you're going to see how crystal clear that mirror paper is. And it really, like I said, looks like a mirror. You can kind of see my craft area as I'm tilting it around. That's the video camera actually, and now I just kind of adjusted it so it wasn't distracting with the reflection in the mirror. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach the Phantom and Christine to the layout. So I'm kind of positioning where I want to put her so I can figure out where I want to put him, mainly because this doll has weird legs at the bottom and he kind of doesn't really have any feet. So I like to cover that area on the bottom of his leg. I didn't worry about cutting out the little piece in between his two legs because her dress is going to cover it, and same as the little piece in his elbow. I left that too since her arm is going to cover it. So I just perfectly positioned her over top so that you kind of can't see the weird little bottom of his pant leg. Then to finish her, I felt like her dress was too plain. I wanted to kind of make her look like she was wearing the big, beautiful white dress that she's wearing on stage when she's singing Think of Me. So I just cut a piece of vellum with polka dots on it and added that over top of the dress. I only used adhesive at the very top, so the whole bottom of the skirt area is not attached, the vellum piece, so it kind of moves and has movement, and to me makes it look more realistic. And then to finish her off, I added sequins to her hair and to the middle area of the dress, and then I added silver stickles to all the sequins and then all over the dress just to kind of add some sparkle. And then that's going to complete this month's layout. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this month's theme, and I will see you next month for another paper doll layout based on a favorite movie. Thanks for watching.